Welcome to the Spirit of Watercolor. Hello again, Linda here, and welcome back to my studio. Today I want to talk to you about the palette and how this can make your artwork much more successful. To have the right kind of palette, to have your paints put on there correctly, enough paint so you can have a lot of infinite supply of color and creativity. So, and this is one of the materials that I wanted to get a little more specific with you about. This will be a pretty short video, but this should be very helpful to you as far as having success with your paintings, and one less reason to say I can't do good work, because we can all do beautiful work and wonderful things. We just have to be able to have the right materials and learn how to use them correctly as well. Okay, so a couple things here. The palette that I use, this is a John Pike palette, and you can find these, I found it on Amazon searching for a nice large palette. You can tell how big it is, right? Okay, well, the other thing I like about it is that it's got this lid, right? So it covers it up, keeps the paint protected. It does still dry out, but well, actually it looks pretty wet, so maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, I think it does still dry out a little bit because it's not completely airtight, but it's pretty good. It keeps things nicely in here for you. Now, the pockets, as you can see, are at least an inch big, and that's nice. And I recommend filling those up as much as possible. Mine are starting to empty out, but I use them a lot, so I blow through paint pretty fast. But to fill these up at least halfway or more, you're going to have a lot more paint to draw onto your pan here. Look at how large that pan is also. I have a lot of room to spread and mix my colors. The other thing is the lid is also another pan for spreading paint out. And when I cover this up when I'm finished, it does not like drip or leak onto the palette. I've never had that happen. I suppose it depends how wet your paint is and so forth, but I've never had that experience. So it's a very workable palette, and there are other ones, the small ones that you can buy, but I find the bigger the better and the more success. And then get your favorite paints. We've talked about the paints, and I recommend the tubes versus the pans. It's just, you can put as much on and it's nice and wet and it mixes better than the pans, is my experience. Those are great for taking out for traveling and maybe doing a little bit of plein air work or something like that. But I actually take my large palette when I go outside, but everyone does things a little differently. So, and then the next thing to talk about is how to put your paints on the palette. Okay, now I like to get this very organized so I know where my paints are going to be. And I like to start with my yellows. It's kind of like following a color wheel. You could do that, one of those paper color wheels. And I do have one somewhere, but I don't know if I can grab it right now for you. But we can talk about the color wheel in another little mini video. But I go with my yellows to my oranges to my reds. I tend to go from lightest to darkest value. Some people might say coolest to warmest, like this is a cool lemon yellow. That's a warm nickel azo yellow. And I have my little, lighter or cooler Hyrule orange, and it goes into the Paraline orange, which is more red, moving into the reds. So you can see I have my warm colors on this side, and then my blues, purples, and greens are over here. And then at the bottom, I call it my earth tones, so your raw siennas and your browns and maybe neutral tint or black type colors, although I don't use black, and that's another video too, right? But watercolorists tend to mix their own blacks, and that's a whole nother wonderful video as well. But anyway, this is the palette. I wanted to make a short video just to kind of talk about that. Loading as much paint as possible, organizing the paint, and having a really workable palette. And that's really it. It's pretty short, but this has a lot to do with my creativity. When I'm thinking about the painting and what's on the paper, I don't want to be thinking which paint or where is that paint on my palette. It's all organized and nicely arranged. So that's the tip on palettes, which I think it's a very valuable and a must-do thing. So think about that before you go out and buy your supplies, not to just try to say, and these are not that expensive. I think it was $25. So in the long run, it's going to last and last. It's a plastic, strong plastic material that I don't think you can break or crack. It gets better with age too. When I first used it, it seemed like the paint just set on the top, and now it just really works well on this pan in here. Anyway, I love this, and I love how it allows my creativity to just be infinite and flowing. And this is what I hope for you. So thanks again for tuning in. Check out my other videos all about materials and supplies, about the spiritual nature of watercolor and how it can enhance our lives. And we're doing demonstrations pretty soon. There's some already I posted on YouTube that are just some of the basic techniques, such as dab and drag and flat washes. Hope you'll join me on those, and we'll get going. I'm also going to do pretty soon a little more in-depth video about brushes, and we're going to play with them as a demonstration to see what all the kinds of brushes there are and what you can do with them, and how you can get the best brushes to begin with to create the most success again. Thanks again, and if you like this video, click on the like and subscribe and keep on watching so that we can work together to grow in our love and our creations with watercolor. Thanks again, and I'll see you soon. Bye.